Sure. Welcome to another episode of High Proof Ashes. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason JB Smoke, and way over to my right today.
You know who it is. Duran, no cool nickname. Still, put them in the comments. We might pick one eventually. Probably not because y'all tripping right now, but maybe. But, kind of cool. It's another episode, and we've got a guest in the building today.
Got another guest and on location again. Loving doing this. So today, we've got somebody that's really special to our little small, group, our clan, as I like to call it.
Watch that
now. So... and she is one of the very few ladies of the group, right? And so this is one of our BOTLs, really, honestly. She's really gotten into cigars, gotten into the spirits, and we just absolutely love her. So introducing Jill Pierce. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Great. Love to have you.
I'm unprepared, but I'm here.
It's one of the themes of our podcast is it's unscripted and uncut. So the fact that you're unprepared, that just goes with it, man. I mean, it just goes with it.
So we got Jill in the building, so I'm super excited about doing it, right? That's one of the good things is when we do have a guest that we know, it's pretty easy to jump in, right?
That's absolutely right. And so Jill has decided on our cigar for today, and she's got a bottle that she wants to showcase. So why don't you tell us about the bourbon first?
Well, I've been into spirits for a long time, especially bourbons, and so I'm like a lot of the people in our group. We're really good about trying a lot of different things and having different types of bottles to try, and we rotate. But one that I've always liked, and it's kind of my go-to for mixing old fashions and things like that, is the Woodford Reserve Double Oaked. It's about a $59 bottle typically where you find it, which is pretty good on the price, and it's probably the best of the Woodford Reserve in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And it's a good drink at any time. So, and like I said, it's good for mixing. So, I keep one in my locker just for those particular times. Other than when I've got like my two compadres here, we have bags that have 6 to 7 bottles in it that we pull out at any time. Because we're really big in the bottle share.
We're walking bartenders. We're walking bartenders.
And then I usually carry quite a bit in my vehicle too. So just because I travel quite a bit, but very excited about that. And like I said, it's a good smooth bourbon out of Kentucky.
On it? It's 90, 100.
It's that's a good question because we do
grab it. Let's look.
Let's see here. It is
90.4.
I was
about to say you're gonna put my bad on.
No, I got my glasses on. I put my glasses on just in case I had to read. I should know that by thing, but
I couldn't remember either.
And it's really funny. We don't drink a lot of low proof stuff. That's considered a lower proof, but it's just a good.
It's a really good one.
It's just a real good one to start out with, as far as that goes.
I think that was just my big sis trying to take care of me because we're recording earlier in the day than we normally do.
Right.
So she was like, "Hey, let's bring this low proof out for Duran."
Actually, has done it for me since I'm the aged one in the group.
I don't think anything I brought's under 100. Not on purpose.
No.
Well, on average, we don't drink a lot of things that are under proof unless it's a specific special type of thing. But but like I said, I keep it in my locker for that kind of mix.
Yeah. And let's talk about the cigar.
Yeah. So the cigar that we have for today, this is something that Joe wanted to showcase, and I mean, I think it's a great idea that we have, an extremely affordable cigar. That is very good.
I think that's an understatement. When we say extremely affordable, I don't think we realize how inexpensive this is. So retail in a shop, you can get this for $6.
I think so.
But if you buy this, in a box, you can get these sub $4.
I was going to say they're $3.
Well, not as much now, but when we first started,
that's why I said sub $4. Maybe I still think you're $3.75. Yeah. Right, but when we first started, we could probably buy a box of these at $3 a stick, right?
And the fact that it is a Fuente's cigar. If you don't know, Fuente's are a little bit more expensive because they are hard to find. Curly heads are very popular cigars, but and that's what it's called. It's an Arturo Fuente special called the Curly Head.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I got a box of these just recently and got them for about $3 a piece, which is pretty rare right now, but it's a good smoke.
Now these are the banded versions. There's also unbanded.
There
versions,
is.
Right.
There is.
That are even cheaper.
Is that what it is? They're
Yeah,
cheaper.
cheaper.
Yeah, but I
wasn't
like
sure
the banded
difference.
version. I think it's a good. It's, as you can see, it's a good size. So it's not a short smoke as far as that goes.
It's an interesting Vitola. Like it's not quite like a Corona or a Lancero. It's like a, is that weird one I can hardly pronounce, the Panatella?
I think that's what it would fall into. I think Fuente has their own name for it, like a lot of them do.
Sure.
But yes, I think Pantella would probably be a better description than anything.
There we go with me being unprepared. Let me find out there's no fluid in it.
Is it your
That's
turn?
all right. I think we have enough lighters
enough
that we can do that.
Look at that. It's terrible, man. Like a novice in here. At least I brought my cutter today. Oh, see, this is that complicated stuff. Look,
No,
you got to
you
show
just
me how
pull
to
it
do it.
down.
Oh, that's it? Okay.
That's it.
It's not as complicated as I thought.
There you go.
Try not to lose my fingers here. It's been a little while since I've had one of these.
I was just telling her that before we started recording that, it's been quite a while since I've had one of these. I just don't go to them
Like
that often.
but the footlight was quite pleasant on it. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is the Maduro, so
mhm.
you're going to get a little bit more.
Well, and I tend to lean towards Maduro anyway because I smoke mid. Not that I wouldn't smoke a light cigar, but I typically stay in the mid hard.
But I think for all three of us, this is probably our first cigar today, and
Yes.
it's not ridiculously overpowering.
No,
Blowing up the palate.
but
you
it's
can't.
extremely flavorful.
It is very flavorful.
Like, for this to be as inexpensive as it
Yeah.
is, I forget how enjoyable they
Yeah.
are.
Well, I think one thing that keeps the price down is the look and feel of the cigar is very
It's rough.
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 I don't know about very rough, but it's definitely rough.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I've had rougher, but it's and there's a name for that. There's a name for this rougher style of rolling.
Well, it's made in the with Fuentes being out of the Dominican Republic, but the problem is this is more of that Cuban style rough hand wrap with the hand wrap
Yeah.
that you see as far as if you see those type of cigars.
Yep.
And it also, I think that cuts with not having such a finish on it. That's the reason it's a little bit cheaper.
Right.
But it's a very good smoke. It's very smooth on the palate,
It is.
especially in the beginning, which a lot of cigars aren't.
Mm-hmm.
No, like I said, I enjoyed the initial light of this. Like, the flavor burst immediately. It was like, man, I forgot. I enjoyed this.
I know.
Like,
This is really good.
Like, I got to put these back in rotation. Like, seriously.
Yeah, I've got a few at home, and they're in my bin of cheapos.
Yeah.
Like, and they probably don't belong there.
No, I mean, they're stepping. So at the price point, yeah, you can put them there, but they smoke above.
They smoke that.
This is another one of those cigars that you could easily say smokes above its price point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Easily, right? Like, this could be a $7-8 stick. Don't think about doing that craziness, Fuente. We're not hearing it. You've had it at the price point that it's at for way too long to try that, but it smokes way above its price point.
Well, realistically, the next one up, which is their Chateau line, they run $6, $8, $10 depending on what size you get. There's tons of sizes, so they're right where they should be, right? Right under the Chateau line.
Well, let's get into some questions for our guest, Jill. So how did you get into cigars and bourbons?
Well, the bourbon story has been kind of a long thing. I started drinking bourbons in probably my late 20s, which I'm not anymore. So
Really?
Yes.
I thought you was 25. Stop it.
He's doing good. He's doing good this morning. That's the reason you have true friends. No, basically, started getting into bourbons with a couple of friends of mine and a lot of my girlfriends do not do what they call the brown liquor thing. So we got into it. I wasn't a beer drinker. Did the mixed drinks for a long time and started getting into where I like just having a neat drink.
Right.
And so from that standpoint, that's what I did and started going up to Kentucky and trying different things and then got in with a couple of bourbon groups and just started learning as much as I can because there's a lot to learn when you talk about any type of alcohol and the bourbons have gotten even more so because of, used to bourbons, you had probably, 10 really good manufacturers or distillers.
Yep.
And now it's all over the map
Yeah.
because it's become so popular.
Yeah.
So been doing that for a long time. I really have gotten into it more and more in the last probably 10 years.
Okay.
Been with the group with these two guys, as you guys know, for the last almost 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got our little bourbon group here. And so I really have, I guess, refined my palate even more. Where I can, taste those subtle differences where it takes a while. And it takes a while to do that. You just don't. I don't think a lot of people come out of, they know what they like, but I don't think they have those refined tastes to figure out the difference in even taking differences between, an 8-year and a 7-year in the same brand line. It takes a little bit. And so that's been kind of the way we've gone with bourbon. And I do have a lacking of a better word, kind of a bougie taste for, but I kind of pulled up there. Not that I don't like something that's good and very reasonable in price. It's just that I've gotten into the higher proofs and things like that. I think that's the way a lot of us have gotten because we've been doing a bottle share now for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
As our big
core group,
and really have gotten to try some great stuff. And like I said, this is just one that I tend to go to for, like I said, and I still do a good old fashioned every once in a while.
I had 2 of them last night. Me and the wife did a date day, and we did old fashions. Like my wife was actually drinking old fashions.
Really?
Yeah, like it's kind of crazy. So
all right,
but yeah, we did that, and it was fun. So I completely understand. Every once in a while, there's a right time and place for a good mixed drink, right?
Yeah.
You can't drink bourbon all the time. Like it's 112 degrees outside. You're walking, and bourbon is not the drink of choice at that moment. But it again, I completely understand. Jill is also a board member for Tin Caps, right? So she is one of the instrumental people in helping us with our nonprofit, and one of the most instrumental in getting it up and running, right? Like she took care of all the legalities and all that good stuff for us. But so what does everybody think about this cigar so far?
I mean, I think it's super smooth, especially for a Maduro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, being that it's the first cigar that I've had of the day, like, a lot of times Maduros tend to be a bit much.
Yeah.
But this one is not. This one is it's a light Maduro.
I would say it's a medium stick.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so
which is strange because it's
full
a Maduro.
flavored, but it's a medium stick.
Yeah.
I really like these sticks. I like to start these off. If I'm going to be at the cigar lounge or someplace I'm going to be smoking, 1 or 2 cigars, I like this as a starter cigar because it's really smooth. It doesn't have that bitter aftertaste that sometimes you get with some of the early cigars you smoke as you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's definitely something to set the palate up.
Yeah.
Really well. Anyway, so let's talk about this bourbon here. We've all got our pours, and I remember having this. Maybe not that particular bottle, but the double oaked on the Woodford, for the first time, and thinking, wow, this might be one of the best, double oak toasted. There's a bunch of different terms, right, that I've had, and I still say it's one of the best ones out there, especially for the price.
Yeah. The other thing that's really nice about the double oak is the color.
Yeah.
It has that rich color. Of course, Woodford is a long-standing. It's one of the older distilleries in Kentucky.
Yep.
And they have a long history. I like their others, but to me, their double oak is by far.
They refine this so much, right? Like you said, like I didn't realize how thick my pour was there, but luckily it's low proof.
I think that shows a lot right there. Anyway.
Yeah, look, I like it.
So much for early in the morning.
Right. But, like you said, you look at that beautiful color there, and then the notes on it, right, are just so refined. Like you take a good, smell, and there's none of that like ethanol that burns nose. Now, part of that comes from it being lower proof, right? But it's also just they've done such a great job refining this, and taking it through the process. So,
well, one of the good signs is when you're sniffing any type of alcohol, especially bourbon, is to leave your mouth open just a little bit so that, because if it does have that large alcohol thing, it really comes out. And as far as that goes, so I think that's a thing, and it's always the same. There are a few brands out there that even when they distill it, sometimes you got to let it open it up, and it's a little rough and all that stuff. So I feel like when you have those brands that are them, Buffalo Trace, a couple of others that do a solid job on the whiskey, and all of them are pretty low proof until they get into some of their specialty brands.
Yep.
But
it's a really good pour. I mean, it's really oaky on the palate. For me, the aroma is just like a ton of caramel.
Yeah.
And it's great with the cigar.
Oh man,
it's a really good one.
These actually pair very well together, right? Like that medium, lower end of full body cigar with, this little bit lower proof, but extremely flavorful. Both the cigar and the bourbon. So like start the day off right, I suppose.
Yeah, started off right. So Jill, some of your other background, you work in the IT world, I think in like kind of cybersecurity and other areas, and do you own a farm, or is it not a farm?
Well,
kind of a farm.
My family has been farming for about 5 generations, and I married a man whose family had been farming for that. I live on that farm. I became a widow 9 years ago due to cancer, and my brother-in-law runs the farm that I live on now. And we have hogs and cattle. So we do that. My family has a deep history with agriculture, and I kind of went the other way, but and went into technology.
Right.
So I have a pretty diverse background in business, but started working in schools, retired from being the chief technology officer for a school district 2 years ago. And I've had a consultant business on the side for quite a number of years. And I work with some small businesses, schools, county governments, a little bit across the thing. Cybersecurity mainly, looking at policy, that kind of stuff. And then it's just some regular, help when they have issues pop up that fall within my expertise. And then I work quite a bit with nonprofits also.
Right. And then
she left out one.
She did leave out one.
She left out one.
Like a big one.
Yeah, like she also, a couple days a week, runs the cigar lounge. Like,
well, I do that for fun. I only do it one day a week.
This tells you how diversified she is, right? Like,
and that's not even what I was thinking of.
What are you thinking of?
I was thinking of the job she starts in January.
Oh, the new? Yeah.
Why you left that out?
What? I don't know. I guess because
Jill is retired.
That's a big
I am retired.
I'm retired. Yeah. Make no mistake. She's retired.
Jill is retired.
I am retired. That means I can pick, but I will be the executive director of a nonprofit starting in January, and it works in instructional technology with teachers and administrators and all that. I'm looking forward. I've been a member of that organization 30 years, and then once a week on Sundays, typically, I come and work at Akoi Cigar Lounge, where we're at right now.
Yeah, right.
And
that is when the retired woman isn't traveling for work.
Most days, yeah. Did it just to help out, and it's kind of turned into a thing.
But you do a lot of traveling.
I not as much as I used to, but I do. There's times like I'll be hitting some travel things here soon, but
Jill is the busiest retired person.
I know, that's what I was going to say. Like, I'm trying to convey that as much as I can.
Talking to two people, that work full time.
I'm a busy person, but Jill,
like crazy, man.
Like, my schedule is nuts, but Jill's schedule is just as bad as mine, if not worse.
Yeah, but I can usually clear out some things on my schedule. It's a little bit easier than you guys because I am officially retired. But,
right.
But yeah, I like staying busy, and the nice thing about retiring from working in my full-time job is that I can kind of pick and choose now.
Okay.
So I think that's the thing. Yes, I'm busy, and I do have some things that it seems to come in clumps. I won't be traveling at all, and then all of a sudden I'm traveling for a couple of weeks.
A couple weeks, yeah.
So, but I'd rather do that than have a week here, week a month, or something like that. Mm-hmm. So, but no, I think that's part of it. But
you've gotten to go to some pretty neat places and visit other cigar lounges and distilleries. And,
yeah, that's been the nice thing, because as I do travel, I'll communicate a couple of different ways, and So if we go someplace and we find something that we think's cool,
Mm-hmm.
we'll let the others know and do that. It's gotten so bad that I've even bought a suitcase to carry bourbons in if I buy enough, which is pretty sad. It's basically a wine suitcase, but I modified it to carry bourbon bottles.
Yes.
Because as you can see on the table, wine bottles are pretty much the same size. Bourbon bottles are not.
Yeah.
I mean, and we've got a really good example here of
Yeah.
what that is. So I have modified that to carry different types of bourbon bottles.
I mean, again, we are creatures of habit, right? Like we like to have our selections wherever we go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, when I touched down in Vegas recently, the first thing I did was tell my friends, take me to a liquor store. I can't drink anything you have. So,
and you don't want to drink at a bar because it's outrageous.
yeah, it's outrageously priced, you know. So but one thing I do find traveling, right, when it comes to bourbons is the pricing is all over the map.
It's
right.
And
Like,
the further west
crazy.
you go, the more expensive
The more
it is
expensive
because
it
of
gets.
taxes.
Yeah.
Because of
Yeah.
taxes more than anything.
But it's just crazy. So, but you know, we are creatures of habit. Like I said, we need our specific pleasantries that we like when
That's
we
right.
go places. So
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny because when I do travel and I see people from these tech companies I work with and stuff like that, a lot of them are bourbon people, but they are not.
they're
They
not
don't-
bourbon.
They're
people
not like
us.
we are, yeah.
Yeah,
And
they're
so
not like us.
basically, they're always coming. Hey, Jill, did you bring a bottle? Or or they'll call me if they're looking for something. I just start laughing because I'm like, you travel all over the world, and you're calling me in little old Tennessee to try to
Right.
find something.
It's good stuff, though.
I'm telling you, man, that's one of my favorite. Double oaked.
Again, I'm
toast
so happy
whatever.
that Jill suggested both of these.
Yeah.
Because I haven't visited either one in quite some time.
Yeah. I don't
I'm
have
mad
that
at
bottle.
myself that I don't have that
I
in
don't
my
have it.
collection.
I keep.
I ju-
That's the one bottle I make sure I keep.
I don't have it in my
And I
collection.
always keep it. I'm also a member here at OCL, so I keep one in my locker.
Mhm.
And so, and then I keep one at the house. And it's not that I drink it all the time. It's just, it's kind of my comfort bottle.
Mhm.
It's one I can go
Yeah.
to if I don't
Yeah.
really know what I want to drink. Because I tend to just drink socially and smoke socially. It's just kind of a rule I set up early on, so I
Right.
wouldn't be drinking by myself.
That makes sense.
Because a lot of people misunderstand when you do a bottle share, they don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
Right.
You have people that come and they'll pull or pour like you did.
Like I did this one.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's not or worse.
Worse.
And really, the rules of a bottle share is that you pour a light pour so you can try different ones
Yeah.
and decide what you want and that kind of thing. It's not about getting drunk or even getting buzzed. It's about enjoying good bourbons.
Right.
And I think sometimes
company.
people, and the company by far is the first thing. But I do get tickled that we have to tell some people the rules because they look at, I've got free booze, and it's not about that. It's about learning the different, because there's a lot of nuances. I mean, even in this Woodford Double Oak, there's just little things about the oakiness of it and stuff
Mhm.
like that. And once you get your palate used to that, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
you really
sure.
take your time to really try to pick out the flavors. You can start to get those nuances from other pours.
Yeah.
And so it's just, and take your time with it. It's like you said, you really shouldn't be doing this to get drunk.
No.
Right?
No.
You can get drunk way cheaper and way easier.
Yeah, I mean,
You know?
you can go buy a $20 bottle that'll do the job just fine. Right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, exactly. You're going to
so
come up to this level. You're doing it for flavor. You're doing it for company. You're doing it for, nuances.
camaraderie,
aromas,
like all of those good things
camaraderie.
that
That's
come
right.
through, right?
Yeah,
So,
man.
yeah, I
Well, it's
agree.
the same with the cigar. They say
Yeah.
to truly enjoy a cigar, you smoke it slow.
Yeah.
And sometimes we get in a hurry and you smoke a lot faster and
I
things
think
like
it's
that.
just, so I noticed for me when I smoke a cigar the fastest is like for
When I-
most people it's not. It's when I really enjoy a
I
cigar,
really enjoy
but when
it.
I'm around people enjoying a cigar,
Yes. Because you don't even realize
I
it.
power through it.
You just,
Like
Yeah.
and so when I'm
Well-
sitting and smoking by myself, they last so much longer.
So we were just talking yesterday with Sean smoking the digger, right? And I'm like, what is that? Like a 2-hour, 2.5 hour cigar? And he's like, I've smoked this thing in an hour. And I'm like, huh?
But he slowed down yesterday
did.
and
He
smoked
slowed
it in
down.
2.5 because
And-
we've been getting on to him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I said, you're not enjoying that cigar.
Right.
Yeah, I am. I said, slow down.
Right.
So,
But I'm a consistent drawer, right? So like for me, like my cigar doesn't rest a whole lot unless
Yeah.
it's a cigar that has to rest, right? I have had some cigars that like if I smoke it the way I normally smoke a cigar, it'll start to canoe tunnel, some of those different things, because I'm just drawing the heat too fast, right? So luckily this one I've done pretty well. I feel like I'm smoking it faster than both of you, but
So
still,
you may or may not have noticed, but every now and again I'm putting it
you're
down,
putting it down, yeah.
and that's forcing me to, it's not in my hand, so I'm not drawing. Like I
Yeah.
have to actually like, pick it
See,
up.
that's my big problem is like I don't know. I'm used to just kind of holding on to it and,
Yeah.
and talking.
I
through.
think also too sometimes the construction of that cigar of how it's made.
Oh yeah,
You
definitely.
know, burn faster. I mean, there's some of those cigars that'll burn a lot faster as far as I go. The reason I like these, even though it does have that rough exteriors, they're very well made, and for the price, you can't beat them. Because sometimes that even in the best made cigars, you'll get a bad one. It's just part of the thing. Even you got them got too much humidity in them, or not enough, or things like that, and so. A lot of people will buy cigars and not put them in their humidor immediately, or try to smoke them quickly. And that I've learned this because cigars wasn't my first thing. I've learned this from being in our core group, is that a lot of times when we buy cigars and I'm bringing them back, they need to be in my humidor for a few days to kind of even out and stuff like that. Even though I enjoy, there's some of those that you really enjoy smoking.
Yeah. What you just said made me think of a statement though. When it comes to like this specific cigar, it's only Fuente is Fuente.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like that's been a tagline of theirs for a long time. Only Fuente is Fuente. So they can make something that is extremely economical and really rough around the edges, but still smokes really, really,
really good.
Right. Like this is an enjoyable cigar. Like, and I always forget how much I enjoy them until I revisit it, and it's like, why did I stop? Like, again, right? Your money changes, and you change things, but
I think that we've all got a decent stock of cigars, and bourbon. Talking about the Woodford, I can tell you why I don't have a bottle of Woodford. It's because over the past 6, 8, 10 months, there's been so much new stuff coming out that I've been interested in, or that I fell in love with, and got an extra bottle. And so I had a bottle of that at one point, drank it, and that spot got taken up by something else. And and so until the new stuff dies down, I'm not going to go back to the the oldie the oldie good ones, right? Whatever you want to call that, right? The surefires,
oldies but goodies.
Yeah, the surefires. The
I
guys.
I think there's a certain level of confidence I have in having certain things in my collection, right? Like the Penelope down there on the end of the table. Like, I love having that in my collection, right? Like, it's one of those bottles I can just always go to, and I'm like, I'm very happy with this. There are several of those though. So there's always a couple of bottles that I keep on deck just because. And for you, I think you're really a fan of the pinhooks, right? I
am, and so this is one that just came out. I'm talking within the week.
Yeah.
And this is the single barrel version. There is of course a blended version, which I still need to find, because that's what I'm actually collecting. I wish that I could find an old, what would it be, like 4, 5, and 6 of the single barrel.
Yeah.
But that's going to be so hard to find. But if I could find those, then I could actually have the blended collection and the single barrel collection, which that would be cool. But yeah, I'm a fan of the pinhook, especially from 6 on. I have not actually tasted 4 and 5.
Okay.
So I've only been able to find one bottle of each, and so
they're not open.
They're not open. But it will be interesting once 4 through 12 comes out to just put them, in a line and see. You're probably going to see the color difference.
Yeah.
You're going to see this gradient from one end to the other. That's just going to be super weird. And then just to take that journey through there.
And Jason's real big in trying the different years. That's something you're really
I love
into.
it. Yeah, I'm a variety guy. I want to try all kinds of stuff, and you just never know until you try.
See, and again, I'm a creature of habit.
I know you are.
I'm in the middle. I'm kind of in the middle.
I like to stick to what I know I enjoy, right?
And I tend to try to find those more expensive bottles that I could bring in for us to do. That's kind of my thing. I'll find some bottles that we wouldn't have normally tried and go ahead and spend it stupid money. But for us to at least try that, because that's part of the whole part of it.
Well, I think there's some brands out there that have kind of solidified themselves and shown that they're a really good tasting brand, and that we like most of what they come out with. And so when they come out with something new, we're usually okay with just going ahead and getting it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Even if it is a little bit more. So the Old Elk 10 year is a perfect example. Like, I wasn't able to try that before I bought it, but I love the Old Elk brand so much and I'm just like,
And I
let me
got
go
that,
and get one.
and I got that bottle also because it's so dang good. And
It is so good.
Well, folks, I hate to cut one short, but we're on a little bit of a time crunch today.
We are.
So we've got a few minutes here. Let's give our final thoughts on the cigars and the bourbon.
Well, I'll start, I guess, as far as that goes. Like I said, I don't. I'm kind of like you guys. I don't smoke the curly heads as much because that's what everybody calls them, even though they're Fuente, Arturo Fuente specials. But that's the nickname they've got on them. But I like having them in my humidor because I always will have one in my box. Typically, that if I just want to do a good smoke, just easy as far as that goes, it's good. And I think sometimes you just forget how good they are.
I definitely did.
So it's a great stick for the money. You can't beat it. Typically, right now it's about $6 if you buy them on the individual, and you can find them. There for a while, we couldn't find them anywhere.
Right.
But I know OCL carries them. A couple other places do, so that's good. And then on my side of the bourbon, excuse me, double oaks. Set in my thing, pull it out when I just want a good drink as far as that goes. And for the money, that price on the bottle, it's good. I keep it in my collection pretty much all the time.
Right.
Not that I drink it all the time. As you can see, that bottle's still pretty full, but I just like having it. And if I need to, make an old fashioned or just have a drink with friends like this.
Well, I think you're going to have to put it on the table a little more often because I forgot.
I think you might need to buy one.
Good drinking mine, she says.
It was worth a try. No, but I'll go ahead and say, I appreciate Jill for reminding me right about the double oaked. I forgot how much I enjoy it. Like, truthfully, right? It is one of the low proofers that really is full of flavor. Really full of flavor, right? It tastes phenomenal. Like I said earlier, really, really refined. Woodford has been around for quite some time, and they do it really well. As far as the cigar, I used to constantly keep these on me. The reason I used to keep them is because a lot of times I would be around people that didn't smoke cigars. They would ask me for a cigar, and I would want to give them something that's not super expensive, right?
Right.
But this is an entry-level cigar that smokes so well that, it really is a good cigar. So I think I'm going to have to go back to keeping a box on hand just because I've forgotten how much I enjoy it. It's nice every once in a while to smoke something that doesn't cost, $20 and have the same enjoyment from it, especially when enjoying with friends. So thank you guys for reminding me that this is a phenomenal stick and this is a great bourbon. So that's my thoughts. Jason?
Man, I'm going to mirror a lot of what you just said. This is, I haven't had it in quite some time, and this is a really great reminder of, that a super affordable cigar can be really good.
Yeah.
And this thing is a great segue for anyone who is just getting into cigars.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they don't have a big budget or they just don't want to spend a lot, but they still want to get a good cigar.
Yeah.
This is one to really, really go for. And then the bourbon, it's one of my favorite double oaks, and I love a double oak or toasted or, however you want to say that. It was interesting as I let it sit in the glass, the aromas on the nose started to change a little bit. And there at the end, I got some nice little floral notes.
I was about to say very botanical all of a sudden.
Like that's really interesting to me, that it can change just that much sitting in the glass. So it kind of started out with this oaky caramel, smoky, and then, transitioned to this super aromatic and floral, you know what I mean? Like you said, it's probably one of the best toasteds out there, especially at the lower proof. It's very surprising that it's so flavorful.
Yeah.
No ethanol in the nose or the palate. It's just a great bottle.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
But that's what I got, man.
All right. Well, we'll wrap it up. I'll say a couple of quick things. Make sure you drink responsibly, please. We do come and enjoy spirits, cigars, but we all make sure that we are very responsible. As you'll see, I have water on the table. Jill is hiding hers somewhere, but it's around here. It always is. Jason has his water on the table. So please make sure to drink and consume responsibly. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that little bell so that you get notifications when we post new podcasts. But as always, I am Duran. No cool nickname yet. I'm going to let Jill do her outro, and then we'll throw to Jason.
I'm Jill Pierce. Thanks for having me, guys. It's been good, and I'll see you at the next bourbon share.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Jason.
yes. And I am Jason JB Smoke. We'll just we'll see you on the next one, and especially with another guest, right?
Yeah,
we're gonna get some more guests. In here.
definitely. That was my job placement, so I got it.
Yeah.
Got it.
See y'all later.
Soon.